Hi, in this video, we're going to delve into the most important rules of the two-phase challenge. We'll explain all the aspects you need to pay attention to before your first purchase. Prepare yourself for a solid dose of knowledge. The two-phase program is the most popular plan that we will discuss in detail because for many props it is the standard and is also the most commonly available. Let's start with the basic fees for the challenge. In the table on the left, you can see a full breakdown of current prices. In most companies, prices are similar and vary by about 15% in one direction or the other. We have averaged them. Even though you may have a significant capital at the start, we still recommend starting from the bottom shelf. You'll get used to trading in the prop, get used to the rules, and adapt strategies. Patience is key here, so start with small challenges as you try to get more and more funding. It is also not worth overpaying for a challenge when you can take advantage of a lower price, because as part of FX Prop, in many companies you can use discount codes that we provide. You can use the codes when placing each order, reducing its cost. You can find them on fxprop.com in the Discount tab. Let's move on to the conditions that need to be met to get a funded account. I will often use the percentage occurrence of individual parameters so that you can better learn to distinguish which conditions in the props are standard and which are exceptionally good. The challenge consists of two stages: Phase 1, called the challenge, and Phase 2, called verification. In the first phase, our goal is to achieve a profit of 8 to 10%, counted from the starting balance of the account. In most companies, 83% of them, the goal is 10%. But you will also find that 17% of companies have a simpler target of 8%. So, if we started with $100,000, then our goal is $110,000. And here's a tip. It's not enough for our equity to touch this value. You need to close positions. And after closing all positions, our balance must be that much. This is condition number 1. In 90% of companies, we have an unlimited amount of time for this task. Some set a limit here for 30 days, but that's only 10% of them. If we talked about the maximum time, it's also worth mentioning the minimum number of trading days. 17% of companies offer no minimum number of trading days, which means you can complete the first phase on day 1. 71% of companies set a minimum number of days in the range of 1 to 5 days, and 12% of companies set it above 5 days. However, even with such a minimum number of days, if you manage to complete the challenge in just 2 days because trading went perfectly and the minimum number of days is 5, then for the next 3 trading days, you can open positions at 0.01 lot just to meet the condition of a minimum number of days without risking a capital drop at the same time. These are common practices. We know well how much we need to earn, but what about drawdown? In the case of 89% of companies, this is a value of 10% maximum drawdown, while only 11% of props decide to reduce the limit to 12%. This is the maximum amount of loss counted from the initial balance. In the example of 10% and an account of $100,000, our maximum drawdown can be $90,000. And here, unlike in the case of profit, when our equity only touches this value, our account is marked as breach, and we cannot continue trading on it. In such a case, we lose our entry fee. Another restriction on drawdown is the so-called daily drawdown. In 92% of companies, it is 5% of the account. In 8%, it is 6% of the account. Let's go with the most popular example, which is 5%. Most firms calculate a fixed 5% of our initial balance and then subtract this amount from the state of our checking account at a specified time. This checking moment is called daily loss reset time. We distinguish 3 most popular variants that prop trading firms use to calculate our maximum daily drawdown. The first option is to subtract this value from our account balance. The second option is to subtract it from equity. And the third option, the least favorable for the trader, is to subtract it from the higher of either balance or equity. Calculating this level and a detailed explanation of the issue is a topic for a separate video, which will surely be found on the channel. Inside the dashboard of each prop trading company, you can check where this border is on a given date and what the exact time is when the daily drawdown is reset. You have to control it and trade safely, so as not to touch this barrier with your equity. This is one of the most common reasons why traders lose their challenge accounts. Summarizing so far, our overall goal of the first phase is 8 to 10%. The maximum drawdown is 10 to 12%. The maximum daily drawdown is 5 to 6%. The time for the challenge in most companies is unlimited, but there are those with a 30-day limit. The minimum number of days of trading is usually from 0 to 5. It is also worth remembering about other rules which often change in prop firms. Can we trade during news? In 62% of prop firms, yes. In 38%, no. So it's worth getting acquainted with the detailed information in the company you want to cooperate with. Can you hold trades over the weekend? In 67% of prop firms, you can. In 33%, you can't. Additionally, if you trade fully automatically or use a trade manager to manage positions, remember to check whether the company allows the use of EA. 82% allow the use of robots. 18%, however, refrain from EA trading. It's important to remember these rules and verify them before starting the first phase of the challenge. After successfully completing the first phase, we move on to the next phase, verification. We receive a new trading account, and here the matter becomes simpler because all companies at this stage simplify the challenge. The profit goal we need to achieve drops from a high range to 5%. And in companies where the challenge time is limited in the first phase to 30 days, here it is increased to 60 days. Completing the second phase with a 5% profit will allow us to trade on a funded account provided by the prop. Before receiving the account, we will have to perform a simple KYC to confirm our identity, sign a contract, and sometimes fill out a trader questionnaire. After these actions, we will get access to a new account on which we can already settle with the profits made, a funded account. Let's first discuss the trading conditions on such an account. Drawdown remains unchanged. It is still 5 to 6% of the maximum daily loss and from 10 to 12% of the total loss. Exceeding this value results in breaking the contract and the need to complete the challenge again. However, on a funded account, we no longer have something like a profit target or a maximum number of days in any case. When we earn a satisfactory amount of profit, we will be able to withdraw it after a specified time from the first open trade on the funded account. In 62% of companies, profits can only be withdrawn after 30 days, and in 38% of companies within 14 days. This means that if our first trade is made on November 1st, we can make a withdrawal on December 1st. When making a withdrawal, we have to share the profit with the prop. The profit split in 82% of companies is 80% for you, 20% for the prop. In 15% of companies, these are higher values for you, and in 3%, they are lower. For example, if we earn $10,000 with an 80-20 profit split, it means that as much as $8,000 will go to our account. After making the profit split, we get a completely new funded trading account, or our current one is reset. We can trade on it as long as we don't break any of the drawdown rules or any other rules related to news or closing positions before the weekend. It is also worth mentioning the possibilities of scaling the account. If our trading is consistently good on the receive funded account, then in most companies, after 4 months, we will have the opportunity to increase the balance of the account by 20 to 30% of the base amount. In 77% of cases, this is 20%, and in 23% of cases, it is 30%. To receive such an increase, you need to be profitable at least twice in these 4 months and achieve a total profit of at least 10%. Then your account will be increased. In prop trading, it is important to understand all the rules and the game's principles. As we have shown, the process takes place in stages with less and less restrictive rules, but still with an emphasis on responsible risk management. As you go through these stages and achieve profits, you can draw satisfaction from this and then real profits. But remember that the key is consistency and discipline. All of this is part of the journey to become a long-term profitable trader in the Forex market. At FX Prop, We have also created a tool comparing prop trading companies, Prop Comparer. There you can compare even 3 companies at once, checking their details of their two-phase challenge in a clear view. I encourage you to check this out in the Tools tab on the fxprop.com website. See you in the next video.